Well, around 2002, you started doing television. You were on The Weakest Link, Rap Stars Edition.
That was fun.
With Rev Run, DJ Quick, Jermaine Dupri, The Brat, Be Real, Cypress Hill, Exhibit, Nate Dogg. And you actually won it. You beat Exhibit in the final round.
Yes. That was fun. I gave the money to the Humane Society. I was an animal person back then.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I have a Rottweiler.
I got two medium hair domestic cats, and I have two, and I have a Yorkie poodle and a Maltese poodle.
Yeah, I have a Rottweiler and a Maine Coon cat.
Oh, Maine Coon is cool.
Yeah, they're huge.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like a 30-pound cat.
There you go.
The full growth.
Dude, what you need, two things. Little Robot, are you hip to the Little Robot? Little Robot 4, change your life. I don't have to touch the thing for 3 or 4 days.
I'm about to write this down.
Little Robot 4, and then they make beds that the cat can actually claw on and sleep in. I'll show them to you when we're done. But they're like life-changing. But that Little Robot 4 will change your life.
All right, we're about to cop one.
Yeah.
You convinced me.
It's a grip. But it's worth it.
Is a pain in the ass.
Oh, no, definitely pain in the ass. Dude, you can control it from your phone.
Nice.
You put in about half the litter you put in a normal box. Cat goes in, does its business. It has a sensor in there, so it sifts the litter out and puts the waste in a bag underneath. And you only have to go through it every couple of days to change it out. No smell. Keep it,
I don't know if my cat will fit in it though. It's kind of.
Oh yeah, no, your cat's big. I have an
$700. So we'll see.
I have an 18, 19-pound cat.
Oh, okay.
And she fits in.
Oh, she fits. Okay, yeah. All right. So maybe this will work actually. Yeah. Well, I see anywhere between
it's big, dude.
700 and 900.
Yeah. The 900 is closer to it. Don't get no pre-owned shit.
No. I'm not going to. Pre-owned kitty litter thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds nasty.
Open box.
Right. You're also on Celebrity Fit Club 3.
Yes.
With Kelly LeBrock, Bruce Valanche.
Bruce Valanche, yeah.
Tempest Bledsoe from The Cosby Show, Countess Vaughn, Chaz Bono, Jeff Conaway, Gunnar Nelson, and Bizarre of D12.
Yes.
And you won. You lost more weight than anyone else.
Yeah, it was not the smartest decision. They didn't have us putting on muscle. It was a lot of... So the first 2 weeks, our first 2 weeks on Celebrity Fit Club, they gave us a diet that they had never tried out on anybody before. No meat and no carbs. And I lost 14 pounds in that first 2 weeks. And we were shooting every 2 weeks. I think it would be 7 or 8 episodes over a 14 to 16 week period. Our weigh-ins would be the morning before taping. They would have us stand backwards on a scale. So my heels would be up against where the numbers were. Well, I'm a big guy. I have pretty good balance, and my stomach wasn't too prominent. So I was able to look between my legs and see how much I weighed upside down before they taped. So I knew when I was, there was 1 week I didn't lose any weight, but I knew my numbers before I went in. So that was something that actually made that taping a lot more calm for me. Having said that, it gave me an insight to reality TV that basically you were basically going to do more of what you did before after the show, regardless of how big it was or how many people saw you. It's not like me as a rap artist was going to go on a show, lose 40-something pounds, and a record label call and say, oh, you look great on that weight loss show, let's give you $1 million deal. Just wasn't going to happen. So that was something that gave me a whole lot of perspective and kept me from doing a lot of dumb stuff just to get my name out there. Oh, you should be out more. You should get your name out there. You should have people looking for it. To do what, dude? You know what I mean? What am I going to do? I know what I do musically. I know what I want to do artistically. I'm not going to go and get on some reality show and do something that's out of my character with the hope of that's going to lead me back to the thing that's in my spirit. Either you see it or you don't. I do it for a check. I did Celebrity Fit Club to get, down payment on my house.
Yeah.
Fine. That's how it was.
Well, I know, and I've talked about this before. During the pandemic, I started taking my weight very seriously because I started seeing heavy people that I knew die.
Yeah.
Fred the Godson, who I've interviewed, died from COVID. K-Slade, my man, died from COVID. Both of which were heavy, and you start to see the correlation between catching COVID, being a certain weight, and dying.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take it seriously. I start counting calories. I lost like 25 pounds. I'm about 10 pounds heavier than I should be right now, but it definitely taught me how to lose weight. Like I know exactly how to lose weight now.
Right.
It's based on the number of calories you eat per day and whatever workout.
Right.
You know, for me, it's like 2,000 calories. If I go over 2,000, I'll gain weight. If I'm under 2,000 between the food and the working out, I will lose weight. And I started just throwing off weight. I mean, in terms of you losing weight and keeping your weight down, you know, after doing Celebrity Fit Club, did that change your perspective? And is this something you kind of work with still, or not really care?
You know, God bless everybody on Celebrity Fit Club, but that experience was not the thing that has allowed me to have a good weight loss journey. That was in 2006.
Yeah.
And by the time I think my low weight on that show was somewhere in the 240s or like right under 240 pounds. When I shot up in the air in 2012, 13, and I did my movie Justice Served in 2015, that specifically, Justice Served, I was somewhere around 330 pounds. So I ballooned way back up.
330 pounds. And how tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
Okay, we're about the same height.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's pretty heavy. I mean, and that's unhealthy.
Oh, yeah.
Just to keep it 100. And what I always say, sorry to interrupt you, I just want to say this, and this is what I tell people when we talk about weight, and I even tell my friends like Faison Love this.
Sure.
Show me an obese 70-year-old.
Exactly. Show me somebody who's a senior citizen who steps on the scale and sees the number that you see.
Yes.
Let alone the fact that, you know, just got married, you know, shout out to my wife, Chantal, love her to death. One of the biggest fears I have is laying in a hospital bed looking up at her because I didn't do something that I could have done about my health.
Yeah.
That I couldn't done about my weight. Oh, that burger tasted really good. Or, I had all those carbs when I shouldn't have had, and now I'm in this situation. You know, what is that going to do for her?
I mean, look, I interviewed Buster Douglas. After he lost to Holyfield, he went into a deep depression and started just eating and eating and eating until he put himself into a diabetic coma. And that's when he realized, okay, I'm going to kill myself if I keep doing this.
Right.
It's not like he's like really skinny now, but he's not what he once was.
Sure.
And when you look at just hip hop,
right,
pretty much everyone who's got the word heavy or fat or big in their names usually doesn't make it past their 50s. We just lost Fat Man Scoop,
right,
who was 50-something years old. Heavy D died in his early 50s. 2/3 of the Fat Boys are dead. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on. Yes, sometimes it's celebrated to be fat and the overweight lover and, you know, okay, I'm going to embrace this kind of thing.
Was it in an ancient Rome that being heavy was a sign of wealth and sign of success?
Yeah, lots of societies. I mean, a poor country being fat means that you're doing well in life.
Right.
But the reality is, if you want to live for a long time, being fat is not the way to do it. So being 330 pounds, I never realized you were that heavy. Like, how much do you weigh now?
Just broke 260.
I mean, that's 70 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, imagine putting 70 pounds of flesh onto a table.
Now, the interesting thing is, at the end of Fit Club, they took the equivalent of fat molecules and put that weight in a bag on our back and asked us to run around. And it was 42 pounds for me, and that felt like a bunch. But having said that, I had denied myself carbs, meats. Like, there's ways to eat certain things and still be healthy with it. It has to be done in moderation. If you take something away totally, when you bring it back in, you know, you could look at something, you could look at a carb and you're going to put on weight. So I pride myself in the fact that I can pretty much eat whatever I want, but I do my best in terms of moderating what I eat and keeping my health right.
Yeah.
So, you know, make sure the blood tests and the whole 9 yards, and then we go from there.
Yeah. What helps out for me is that I have one of these digital scales that is tied to my phone and an app.
Okay.
And it tells me not only my weight, but the difference in weight from the last time I weighed myself.
Interesting.
And I've read this a lot. People who weigh themselves regularly will lose more weight than people who don't.
Sure.
Because you don't realize how much you really weigh. Yes, your clothes may feel a little tighter, but you could kind of get that out of your head.
Well, the 330 was an estimate. because I'm not the guy that's going to stand around for the before picture. And if I know I've been eating a lot, I'm not going to step on a scale just to see what the number is.
Yeah.
I remember my highest number was above 320, but I know I was irresponsible beyond that. So I'm assuming that it was 330 just on the size I was, and the fact that I hadn't stepped on a scale for several months.
Yeah, man, it's scary. It's a scary thing. People die of heart attacks. People die from health situations. Fat Man Scoop was not that old. I knew Fat Man Scoop. I mean, we weren't close friends, but we talked to each other. I have voicemails from him. Like, I mean, it's cool that he died doing something he loved, but it's not cool that he died at a relatively young age. And like I said, by me weighing myself, I noticed that when I stopped weighing myself for a couple weeks, like I was in New York for a couple weeks, I didn't really weigh myself. I come back, and I'm like 10 pounds heavier. I'm like, shit, okay, let me go back to weighing myself. And, you know, and you realize, like, every day that you don't eat, your weight will go down. You could actually see it on the scale, like, especially with the digital scale. It's like, I know that if I don't eat lunch, by dinner time, I'll weigh about maybe 2 pounds less.
Right.
And it's like, and that's real. So I always weigh myself, and that's what's kept me on a path because, I used to weigh like, I'm like, what, maybe 210 now? I used to weigh 230. Right. You know, but I could easily have gone to 250, maybe even 300, because I love to eat. Right. So, yeah, man, you know, well, congratulations on taking it seriously. Thank because, you know, we want to keep you around.
I mean, I want to keep me around too. Yeah. You know, so definitely.
And you had mentioned this, you had a cameo role in Up in the Air with George Clooney.
Yes. That was an interesting thing. Jason Reitman was a fan of my music, and I remember speaking to his wife, and his wife had said that he had written me into the movie, but I think she was talking to him, trying to keep him realistic that there may not be a shot that he could get me in the film. I know I had shows around the time that they were asking to go to Miami and film it, because if you remember how the movie was laid out, it was a traveling businessman that had to go around to different businesses and essentially fire people, if I'm not mistaken. So this was the Miami run, so we were filming in Miami. They give me a date, and I want to say that I either had a show that day or something, but I moved the show to do the shoot. Because when they called, I'm like, oh, you want to do this movie with George Clooney? I'm like, yeah, whatever. Movie with George Clooney, stop pulling my leg kind of thing. Then when they call for the follow-up, I'm like, okay, move the show, went down to Miami, shot it, and that was life-changing for me. Not only meeting George Clooney and the fact that he knew some people I knew, but being able to get on, stage, perform, bust a move like I did the whole time, but also being able to see how big I was. And then in hindsight, look at that and say, okay, this is when you gotta, make changes, really make changes.
Right, because after that you did Justice Served.
Right.
Some years later.
A couple of years later, I did Justice Served, and I think that was when I was at my heaviest. There's a scene with my character. I'm wearing a prison jumpsuit, and there's other guys that are in the blue jumpsuits as well, but mine has to, of course, be the largest. And I literally look like Barney in a blue suit in this shot in this hallway, and I'm like, my God, I am huge. I'm directing the movie at the time. So I'm directing, acting, wrote it, funding it, did music for it, did all this work, and I'm looking at myself saying, not that I'm being vain, but just my health was not the greatest. So I jumped in the gym soon after that, and I started with a trainer and kind of went at it, and that started my weight loss journey.
I mean, how did that movie do overall? I mean, considering that you put it all together.
I mean, the movie business is messed up, dude. So most of the movies that are made, the people that fund them don't get their money back.
Oh yeah.
So I'm in the process of still money coming back in, I'm still in the red on it. Having said that, I appreciate the opportunity, love the opportunity. The irony of it is the second day I'm directing Lance Henriksen, who at this point had done like a couple hundred movies, and I'm a first-time director. And what I hearken back to when I'm on set directing him is how Dr. Dre produced me for All in the Same Gang. Giving me the freedom, letting me do my thing, but then putting up the guardrails to say, okay, when you say same gang, do it so you finish. Don't drag it out. Do it so you can finish, so we can either throw a hook or we can throw another artist behind you. That's the only real guidance that Dre gave me. So that was the thing when I'm working with Lance. I know every word that he's supposed to say. He doesn't say it exactly what's on the page, but I don't stop. I see if he starts where I have him start and finishes where I need him to finish. And the stuff in between I can mess with, I can edit, but does he get me from my A to Z? He does. Good, good take, keep it moving. And that taught me a lot in terms of artistry.
Yeah, the movie business is hard. I remember a friend of mine who put out a film. He said, how do you make a small fortune in Hollywood? Start with a large fortune.
Yeah. No, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Met some great people, though. Met some wonderful people.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, congrats on actually, like I said, in the very beginning, going to college teaches you how to finish. Lots of people have started movies
Right.
that have never come out.
Right. Never come out.
Yeah, my man Nori, I remember I was in a movie with him and Ice-T, actually.
Right.
I actually have a speaking role in it. And that movie has never come out.
Right.
I remember we were filming it. Where was it? Was it in the Bronx somewhere? And I remember we're filming it. None of us have lav mics. And the camera's like way over there. And I'm like, Nori, are you sure this is going to work? Because we're pretty, like, I know video. Like, this is what I do for a living. We're pretty far from like, oh, no, I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Be cool. Well, the high point or the proud moment that I have is that not only that the movie was finished, but all the bills were paid. There's a lot of people that finish a film and investors got their hands out, or people that, loans and promises aren't done. I can look anybody in the face that I made that movie with. Yeah. So that's what I'm happy about.
Yeah. Congrats.
Yeah.